Here we have my good friend and trail brother, Ken Brenner. Ken is an avid hiker, stays in shape, and he can really move down the trail. He reached out to me the week of Thanksgiving, asking me if I wanted to hike with him on Black Friday. He proposed an out-and-back hike on the Benton-McKay Trail, from Willscott Gap to the Shallowford Road Bridge crossing and back, for a total of 15 miles. His text said, "It's not too tough as I recall." He had hiked a section some years before. I immediately said yes, but in the back of my mind I knew I wasn't in the kind of shape I needed to be in to hike that kind of distance in the hills of North Georgia. Over the last summer, Kathy and I were hiking machines, and we put in some respectable miles both on day hikes and backpacking trips. If a hike wasn't 10 miles or more, we considered it a short hike. In between hikes, we put in some work conditioning nearly every day. However, once Kathy's summer was over, she returned to teaching school, and our conditioning became more sporadic. Kathy puts in a lot of time as a teacher, and this year her classroom dynamics have been particularly challenging. After leaving for work at 6 a.m. and not getting home until 5:30 or 6 p.m., she was having trouble finding the proper motivation to get out and condition. Being the lazy bum that I am, if she wasn't going, then neither was I. I told myself, well, Ken said it's not too tough, so maybe I'll be okay. First mistake. I imagined that after Ken summited Everest, he'd say, "That wasn't too tough." I fooled myself into thinking I'd be fine, and at first I was. I started strong, was able to keep up mostly, and felt decent, but found the hills really got to me and I was breathing really hard. I made it to our lunch spot on the Toccoa River in decent shape at the midway point. Once we ate lunch and started back, it wasn't long before I started having trouble. My legs were just plain dead, aside from the fact that they were really sore and achy. I simply couldn't make them move as fast as I needed them to. As the hike progressed, I found that it was becoming difficult to draw deep breaths, like there was some kind of constricting band around my chest preventing full expansion. The last few miles of the hike was really a sufferfest, and it was supreme effort of will just to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Ken pulled farther and farther ahead, and I just couldn't keep up. Several times he stopped and waited for me to crawl back within eyesight, making sure I was still moving and okay. Frankly, it was embarrassing. I don't want to give the wrong impression. I enjoyed the hike. It was beautiful country and weather, and a great stretch of trail. Ken's a great friend and hiking partner. That said, I could have enjoyed it much more had I been in better condition. You get a sense of how beat down I was by the following commentary I made at the end of the hike.
We are nearing the end of our hike. Brother Ken said it was 15 miles. So far my GPS has tallied 17 miles. Either way, it's a long way. I wasn't in shape for it. The last several miles have just been nothing but a sufferfest. Even so, I'm glad I did it. It showed me how far out of shape I actually am. I'm coming down to the road and we're going to see the car soon, and that's going to be a really nice sight. Oh, and here I am coming down to the car, Brother Ken's car, and looks like he's still there. He didn't get tired of waiting to drive off and leave me. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I made it, because that was in doubt at some point. Rick and Tim Danger, if you're listening, if you happen to watch this video, when we did the Beach Creek trip, you mentioned that you had to go into power saving mode, and I didn't fully appreciate that at the time. Didn't really know what you were talking about. It was humorous. I'm here to tell you right now, I know exactly what you were talking about, and it's not as funny as I thought it was. That said, I'm glad this one's over. I did enjoy it, but it was pretty brutal. So we'll have to see what's next.
This hike provided me with the wake-up call and motivation I needed to get serious about conditioning again. I started walking around my neighborhood, pushing as hard as I could. It was tough at first, but thankfully it got easier pretty quickly, and I was able to see improvement. I also committed to getting out more with Kathy at every opportunity. She's just now starting to get back into the groove as well, and we've been on a few day hikes and plan to do more as time and opportunity permit. A month later, during the break between Christmas and New Year's, Kim proposed we do the Coosa Backcountry Trail with some detours, another 15-ish mile hike with some pretty good elevation changes. The difference between these hikes was night and day. I felt better from the very start and stayed strong the whole hike. The bottom line and moral of the story: it gets tough. Life gets in the way. Some people may just be plain lazy, like me. But the journey from couch to trail is not a one-time journey. It's a journey that needs to be traveled constantly, whether you go to the gym regularly, walk around your neighborhood, or condition in your home. As I found out the hard way, staying on the couch does not help you out on the trail.